right, a pleasant good afternoon, students. I hope you had an excellent morning here at school, specifically here at Nimitz High School. Today I'm going to be presenting to you a little bit about my country, right? I have learned a lot from you guys during this semester. Likewise, I've learned from your country. Sofia is from Nicaragua. Noe is from Guatemala. Adrian is from Cuba. Juan is from Mexico. Daniel and Andrea. Mexico. Very good. So today I'm going to share a little bit about my country. First of all, this is our flag. Now, our flag depicts, and I think it's the only flag in the world, if I'm not mistaken, that actually has actual pictures of humans or persons in it. All right, but the flag itself and all this has a lot of history behind it, which we're going to see later on. I am from Belize, but first of all, our objective for today. So what we're going to do today, you're going to write 5 sentences that interest you about Belize. So that's the objective for today, okay? As I go presenting whatever it is you like about my country, you write it down. We only want five, cinco, 5 sentences about Belize. So that's the objective for today. Who am I? Who is your teacher? Handsome, of course. All right, this is probably my first picture that I took when I started working here in Aldine. All right, it was probably the first week. Yes, I gained a lot of weight. But that was my first picture that I took while I was here in Aldine. Oh, really? But who am I? My name is Aurelito Yarcanol. As we know, we come from Spanish-speaking countries, and we know that the ito behind it means small, right? Unfortunately, my mom, I don't know what she did to that, but so my name is Aurelito Yarcanol. I've never shared this with you guys. Most of you know me as Mr. Canul or Uriel, all right? But this is my actual name. I am from Belize. This is my 17 years. This is my 17th year in the profession. All right, I started very young, and I'm here now today, and I've fallen in love with the profession ever since. I have 3 sisters, and I have 8 nieces and 2 nephews, so my family is very much growing. And I love teaching you Algebra 1. Also, I love spending time with my family. This is a picture of my family. This is the last picture we took a couple times, probably in January. All right, this is the people I go to when I go to Dallas. This is my life in one picture. Love them to the max. Okay, but we have fun. This is who your teacher is. And now let me share a little bit about Belize. Where is Belize located? All of us are neighbors. If you notice, all of us, our countries are neighbors. All right, but Belize is located in Central America, and it is bordered to the north by Mexico and to the south and west by Guatemala and to the east by the Caribbean Sea. All right, we speak English in Belize. So this is where geographically, for those of us that don't know where Belize is, it's right there, small little country amongst Mexico and Guatemala. Now, the people in my country, we are a multicultural country, meaning more or a lot of cultures are in my country. But today we're going to look at 7 main cultures in my country. The first one is the mestizo. I am a proud mestizo. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my outfit, but I am a proud mestizo. Culturally, we all know culturally back they wear traditional clothing, but because we're more modernized, we dress differently. But I'm a mestizo. What does that mean? That my roots comes from Mayas, right? We have descendants from the Mayas. So I'm a mestizo. We also have the Creole. We have Creoles. They also wear traditional wear, but however, it is more modernized now. So we have the mestizo. We have the Creoles. We also have what we call the Garifuna and the East Indians. The Garifuna, they migrated to our country too. They're found in the south. We also have East Indians. There are a lot of East Indians in my country. These are the main cultures in my country. We also have what we call the Chinese. The Chinese, they're also a big part of our culture in my country. And then we also have Mennonites. The Mennonites are also part of our cultures. Now the Mennonites, a little about the Mennonites, they have their own communities. All right, they have their own community where only Mennonites live. But they are one of the most. They are the ones who agriculturally produce a lot in my country along with other farmers. All right, but they are more inclined to agriculture. we also have what we call the Quechimayas. Um, in the other class, one of the students said that we also have a lot of Quechimayas in Guatemala, right? And yes, so in total, there are seven major cultures in my country, and all of them make it so unique and diverse. A little bit more about my country, the currency. Mexico. Does it look similar to you? No. Well, there has been a lot of debatable issue. The dollars, the colors, very good. Now, a little fact about the currency. In January of this year, they changed our currency. It didn't look like this. This is new. I personally haven't hold one as yet because it's new. It just came out in January, I think. Now, one of the critics is that they look like Mexican pesos, right? That's one of the biggest critiques that they're given to it. But one of the changes they made to our currency is the faces that are in our currency. At first, it had the picture of the queen. Remember, we are under the influence of the queen, and because she passed away and so forth, then they created another design. Now, these persons' face who are here are national heroes who contributed to either the independence of our country or to any movement in particular in my country. So this is our currency. This is new, just in January, nuevo. I personally no he tocado ninguno. I haven't held any. One of the most typical and famous Belizean food, similar to I think my Cuban students last year, said it's something similar to what they refer to arroz con gris, right? So rice and beans, stewed chicken, and this is potato salad. All right, so this is a typical Belizean food. So when you think about Belize, people think about this. We also are, because we're multicultural, we have a lot of different types of foods. All right, so this is one of the major ones when we think about Belize, we think about rice and beans and stewed chicken, like how we say in Creole. Now, we have different languages spoken in my country, but English being the official. Most people there speak Creole. Um, Garifuna, it's a language spoken mostly down south, and then Spanish for those of us who are able to speak Spanish, and then we also have like Quechua, the Quechua Mayan, they also have their own language. But in English we say good morning. In Creole we say good morning. Repeat after me. Good morning. Yeah, el manin, manin. All right. Boti binafi is in Garifuna. Let's repeat. Boti binafi. That also means good morning. All right. Actually, the Garifuna language is one that I really would love to learn. All right, in my country, but it's kind of difficult to learn that. All right. And then we also have this again is a picture of our Belizean flag. So this is a little about my country, in terms of what you would like to know before or ever someday you visit my country. All right, look forward for the rice and beans. Look forward for a lot of different languages. Look forward for a lot of different people. You're going to interact with them because they're all around. All right, but they are wonderful people. Belize is our wonderful country, and so this is a little bit about Belize. I also want to share with you before we leave one of the folklores, as famous Belizean folklores about my country, and I'm pretty sure where you come from, your country, they also have what you guys call leyendas, right? What is the leyenda in your country, Sofia? What is the leyendas in Nicaragua? Is there any? La Mocuana. Oh, there are plenty. What about you, Noe, in Guatemala? Is there any leyenda or folklores in your country? El Cadejo, La Llorona, which is famous too, like in ours. What about you, Adrian? You shared some last class. What are some? El Wii. El Wii. Very good. What about in Mexico? Very good. Perro Negro. El Charro Negro. What else? What about in Honduras? El Chupacabra. In Mexico, apart from El La Llorona, La Chupacabra. But let me share a little bit about in Belize. Now, first of all, one of the most prominent folklores in Belize is the Tataruende. The Tataruende, translated in English, means grandfather demon. He is depicted as an old, mischievous character that is very short. Very short. Has backward feet. Look at his feet. It's not like ours, it's backward. wears a tall pointy hat, and has both of his thumbs missing. Okay? If you ever encountered him, you couldn't show him your hands since he cut off your thumbs. So if he sees your thumbs, whenever you meet him, he cuts it off. That was it. And it says parents also warn their children that if they skip classes, Tata Duwende would lure them into the jungle and they would never be seen. Now, growing up, there are plenty of stories that my grandfather used to share with us. A lot. That was the best time when you sit with grandpa, tus abuelitos, and they tell you stories about how it was before. Very interesting. We also have La Llorona. The Llorona is common in some of your country, Mexico, in Guatemala, in Nicaragua. So they're very prominent. La Llorona translates to weeping woman in English. She is typically depicted as a tall and slender, gorgeous woman with long black hair that reaches all the way to her waist. She was always at a distance, and no one could ever see her face unless they caught up with her. Again, there are several stories in my country that have been told about the Yorana. I personally have never seen it, but I've heard the weeping, I've heard the crying. Early morning, 3 o'clock, while sleeping, I hear somebody crying and singing outside in the neighborhood. I get up, my sister get up to say that because she heard it too. We both open the door and she's like, "You heard that? You heard that?" I'm like, "Yes, you heard that." And we stood there and the weeping continues. So, and the neighborhood, I remember that morning, the neighborhood with the neighbors were talking about it, like, "You heard it?" And she cried, and it was a crying sound, like literally a person just crying and crying and crying and crying. All right, so these are just some examples of folklore. We do have others, Sesemito or Sesemite. Have you ever heard that one? Bigfoot. In other English, in Creole, we call them Bigfoot. All right, but that's also an example of another folklore. So in revision, we have folklores like Tata Duende, we have La Llorona, leyendas. We Our currency is new. We have different languages in my country. Different languages in my country. Some of the Belizeans, some of the famous food is the rice and beans. All right. So and then we have seven major cultures. We have like the Quechua, we have the Mestizos, we have the Creoles, we have the Garifuna, the East Indians, the Chinese, the Mennonites. So these are just some cultures that we have. And in revision, we can say that we are all in the same geographical area, the same region. All right, there's Honduras, there's where Sophie comes from. Here's where is the Noe comes from, and then we have where Juan and Andrea comes from. Unfortunately, we cannot see Cuba. No, Cuba was that in the map, but we also have wonderful students here at Nimitz from Cuba. So I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes, and this is your handsome teacher, by the way. You should be glad. And then this. So I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes. If you're finished, raise your hand so I know. All right, very good, Adrian. Adrian has written his 5 sentences. Very good, Juan. Very good, Daniel. Daniel has 5 sentences. Main language. Main. M-A-I-N. Yeah, main language. Very good. So we're waiting on Sophia, Andrea, and Noe. So we're gonna start also with Daniel. Daniel's gonna come here and tell us something about Belize. So one interesting fact about Belize that you liked. Um, then Noe is gonna read his, and then Adrian, and then so forth. Okay. Very good. Noe is finished. Come, Daniel. Up to the front. And Danielle, you all are going to share what you liked about Belize. And I hope someday you do visit Belize. It's a beautiful country. No, you just need to read it. Bring your paper and read it for us, Danielle. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yes, you can read all or just one or two. Go ahead, Daniel.
For me, I like the distribution of the something in the flag.
Oh, very good. He likes the illustration. Next class, I'm going to share with you about the illustration on the flag. Very good. What else?
I like the culture.
The cultures. Very good. How many main cultures are there, Daniel?
Seven.
Seven. Very good. Seven. There are seven main cultures in Belize. What is what is what is
Garifuna.
Okay, so let's look at this here from current slide. So we have
Mestizos. Creole.
Creole,
Garifuna.
Garifuna, East Indians, very good,
Chinese.
Chinese, Mennonites, and then we also have the Kachin Maya. Very good. Thank you, Danielle. Anybody else would like to share? Sophie? Thank you, Sophie.
Sophie is Chinese.
I like that they have a lot of diversity and that means that they have a lot of different food.
Very good. I love different food.
I like the diversity in languages and I like that they have interesting stories in their folklore.
Very good. Thank you, Sophie. So in languages, Sophie says that because we have a lot of cultures, that means a lot of food. That's totally right. All right. One more person. Anyone like to share? Noe. Thank you, Noe.
Like they have this same legends.
Very good. Similar legends.
Some
Same.
similar of my country, and I like the verse of language, and I like is next to my country
Very good.
and share equals things.
Very good. And where are you from, Noe, again?
I am from Guatemala.
Very good. From Guatemala. Anybody like to share? No? All right. Well, I'm interested in reading your sentences to see what you liked about my country, and I really hope that someday you guys are able to visit my country. It's a beautiful place. It's very culturally diverse. It has a lot of outdoor fun, a lot of minor winds. We have a lot of attractions in my country. All right, and I'm grateful to have spent this year with you guys, learning about your all countries, and also being able to teach you Algebra 1 and at the same time help you to develop with your English skills. And some of you have been learning English very well. All right, thank you very much.